Long ago is it since a picture like this would have been either abhorred or ridiculed. But today, the education of small children in methods of self-preservation is recognized as a humane proceeding.
Any
There we go.
returning to the United States in the previous 14 days will be subject to up to 14 days of mandatory quarantine.
It's a Quarantine Collins show. It's a lot more than 14 days of quarantine at this point. Laura Grant with Timothy Lovett and Kim DeShields, and our special guest, Mia Jackson. Woo! Mia. How are you, Mia?
Hey, I'm all right.
Mia's coming to us from the DC metro area, correct?
Correct. That is my secret location.
It's your secret. Well, it's not so secret anymore. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're fine.
We're coming from Western Massachusetts, which the envy of the rest of the world was a very cool and soft day. We had 60 degrees this morning, which I know all my friends and family in Louisiana are pretty pissed about. But how about you? How's your weather?
Well, I have not been outside in days, so I have no idea. I don't know anything. I'm in a room that's very cold right now, so I'm like, everything's fine. It could be 100 degrees outside. I have no idea.
You got yourself in a bunker.
You haven't been to the wharf, Mia? I saw the food there is excellent.
National Harbor?
Yeah, and I'm like 15 minutes from there.
Oh,
Super close, but I haven't been in months.
wow. I wonder
Yeah.
how much of National Harbor is even open at this point. I wonder.
I think some of the restaurants are, just from what I've seen from Uber Eats. So,
Yeah. As long as Busboys and Poets are open, and that they're not on the. I don't think are they still on
No.
the harbor? No, they're not.
no,
have
I
the-
think,
2 locations.
yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, actually.
I forget where the other one is. Well, oh well. Well, there's a little bit of an advertisement. Anybody knows where the locations for DC Busboys and Poets are? Go find it. It's a good place. I don't know if you can go inside right now, but the food's great.
Yeah, I feel like I've been there, but I can't. I've been to so many places, my random visits here, and I think if I did go, it was maybe like a year or 2 ago,
Oh wow.
but it could have also not been that restaurant. I don't know.
But you've been in the bunker. You're in the bunker in quarantine
in-
time. Where
I am.
there
I
is
am.
no time, right? It's
Yeah.
just now.
It's, there have been days where I'm like, today feels like Tuesday, and I'm like, or is it Sunday? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I have no
Yes.
idea.
Well, today is Sunday, and as usual, we have the Quarantine Collins show at 6 p.m. And I didn't really give you a formal introduction, which I'm not sure if we will, but I will say this: you are Mia Jackson. First of all, she is a very funny woman, a comedian of many years now, right? You've been around for a little while.
Been around for a while, yeah.
And but you started off, and by the way, you're a Georgia peach, so she's from Columbus, Georgia.
Georgia, yes.
Yeah, and you live in Atlanta most of the time, though, right? Oh no, New York or Atlanta?
A little. I'm still kind of back and forth between New York and going back to Georgia. So,
Okay.
I'm kind of, look, my mail goes one place. I'm indifferent. I'm all over.
You're all over. You're ubiquitous, as they would say. I'm giving away all her locations, by the way. Sorry.
Right. The world, delete this, delete it immediately.
Now
No,
you
but
didn't.
but no, I still go back and forth though. Yeah.
That's cool.
I still technically, I live in Georgia. I mean, like that's my residence. That's where I pay taxes.
I see. That's where you're
Well,
voting.
Yeah, and I'm on the road so much anyway. Like I'm never, like, I've had months literally where I have not been home. Like it's like that when I
Yeah.
could travel. Yeah.
Well, and it's so interesting. So before quarantine began, you were on quite a tour. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So like up until what was it? It was what was it, from part of 2018 and part of a little bit of 2019. I was on Amy Schumer's Growing tour. So yeah, her tour that led to her last Netflix special. So I was one of the openers on that tour, and it was super fun. Like we went to a lot of places, theaters and casinos and all that good stuff. Just got to be everywhere. So it was cool. It's
so dope.
Yeah, when you go from like, oh, I'm driving myself to a show to yeah, hopefully this hotel that I'm booked in doesn't have rats in it. Like that.
Oh,
So when you go to that, to like some of the places we stayed, I would go, oh, this place is bigger than my apartment. Like I mean, yeah, we stayed at what was it was the Cosmo once for one of our shows in Vegas, and when I walked in the room, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like there's a bathroom just in the front. I was like, it was far away from the room, but okay. And then I was like, oh my God, this is a whole nother. This is. I mean, like I walked in, I'm like, oh, that's just one of the bathrooms. Nice. So I
yeah.
was. It was very very cool. And then like I would be doing my own shows in between, and I'd be like, all right, I'm back at the Hampton Inn. I'm not
Right.
mad at it, but this is Hampton Inn's fine. Yeah, yeah,
It's amazing. Well, she grew
yeah,
and she grew until she grew big enough to give us another human being, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So it
what were you?
was. Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, 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 please.
No, just that it was just fun. It was just a whole cool experience to be on a tour like that. So yeah.
Yeah. And what were you doing right up until like when we all stopped everything, like in March? Were you still going around touring or what were you doing?
Yeah. So I was just I'm trying to think like from because it's I'm like, what have I done this year? Yeah, it was just pretty much just back to back like shows. I think right up until the shutdown, I went from I was like in Asheville, North Carolina. Then I was in Chicago.
Oh,
Then I was back in New York for a few days. Then I was in Vegas. Then I was in LA, and then I came to DC. So
you
yeah,
have
that
you
was
have a booker who does the dartboard tour package, right?
but some of that was my fault though. So that is all that craziness was some of it was me. I was like, I'll do it. Yeah, but I was just used to being like, hey, this weekend I'm here, this weekend I'm here, and sometimes I'm at home, sometimes I'm not. So yeah.
Wow. So busy, busy until this. And so, but you weren't always a comedian, right? You had a prior career. Do you want to go back and talk about that fun career that you love so much to talk about? I know.
Oh yes. Yeah, I was in the corporate world at one point. I was a terrible employee. I was a corporate trainer. So I was the first person that at this company, all the new hires would see me. I was their person to show them this is how you use all this stuff at this company. And I got to a point where I was straight up a reckless ass employee because I one day this is probably the worst thing I've ever done at a job. Well, not well, one of the worst things because one time I quit a job on my lunch break, but and then went back in there and finished out the shift where they were like, you out? And I was like, yeah. So long story, it was a terrible place to work. But this place, one day I got called by like a producer from like Headline News in Atlanta, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to come in and like be our like comedic relief today about pop culture events?" And I was like, "I do want to do that." And I just told my training class that I was like, "Y'all can take lunch for 5 hours," and it was like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. They were like, "What?" I was like, "Just do whatever you feel like. I mean, I don't just." And then I left and went and got straight up on the news and was talking about the Kardashians and whatever was going on that week. And I remember my dad called. He was like, "I see you on the news right now." He's like, "You about to get in trouble. You don't get in trouble." And I was like, "Nah, I think I'm fine. I
The
think I'm
most
good."
the most flexible corporate trainer ever. You can have a
Right.
5-hour lunch.
Yeah, just did not care what they learned. I left and was all up on the news and was just smiling and all like, just knowing I had a full whole class that didn't know a day's worth of items
That's
on the
so
agenda.
funny. Did you get fired for that or was that
No. I was
no?
no, because they did not know that until I posted about it years later on Facebook. Yeah, so it was yeah, because
I bet you got the best surveys ever from the people who went to your
oh
orientation.
I did. They were like, "Oh my God, you're so fun. We love you," and I was like, I know. Yeah, but whether I knew they learned anything or not, I didn't maybe follow up on that. But yeah, but no, so I always call it acquiring. It was a quit firing. And that's what the title was. But like worked at this place. It was for a long time. Like I was there for like 7, almost 8 years, something like that. And then one day they were just like, we decided you shouldn't be in our training department anymore. You should just work in another, another division of the company. And then I was like, or they were like, do you have any questions? And I was like, yes. And I go, can you fire me? And they were not prepared. And then I just saw the manager like, what? He's like, and I was like, yeah, can you just fire me? Because my mom is in HR. She was like, just tell the people to fire you. And they told me to go home and think about it. And I came back literally the next day and was like, I mean, I'm giving you the same answer I gave you yesterday. So can you fire me? And then they were like, okay. And I was like, all right.
That is so funny.
And that's how it.
That's how I want to go out. I don't know what job I'm gonna quit like that, but I know that is on my bucket list as of right now.
That's a
Listen,
best.
I recommend it. I recommend it. I support it. You go
Can
in
y'all
there.
fire? Can y'all fire me?
Mhm.
We've done enough. Oh my gosh. But before all that, I feel like I've skipped. So we'll go back. You're from Columbus, Georgia. You want to talk a little bit about growing up in Columbus, Georgia?
Yeah, so from
Okay.
Columbus, Georgia, military town. Fort Benning, the base is literally right there. And it's always so fun for me to tell people that how my dad was in the military and was stationed there at one point, but he actually grew up like about 20 minutes away from the base. So for him, he didn't really like he was in other places before I was born, but at one point it was like, oh, I was like, this was like you were in Germany, you were in all these other places, and this is we're just here. Like this is like all of my other friends that like came from the military, like they're like, oh, we were in Texas last year, we were in this place, and I'm like, and we settled 20 minutes from where my dad grew up. So
You were cheated.
I was cheated. I mean, but he was about to get out anyway by the time I was born, so it didn't really, but it was still like, man, could have been on the tail end of, I could have been in Germany or something, even though I'm sure that happened years before I was born. But yeah, so I grew up there. Grew up in Columbus, Georgia. Pretty old regular life. I was there until I went to college, and I went to University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia. So, so that's where I was. And
Wait a minute, you didn't go to Spelman?
I did not. No, I went to University of Georgia. I know people. It is a predominantly white college. We probably had all of. Let me see. When I was there, and I think the numbers have gotten worse. I think, but when I was there, it was like 6% Black students.
Wow.
Just the Black students, not. It was like 15% like minority was the but it was of that percentage, 6% was in. So it was. All the Black people knew each other. We'd be like, oh, hey, like I can still go places now. And like, I've been at shows and I've been like, you went to Georgia, didn't you? And then and they'll be like, yeah, like, did you, like, where were you there? And they're like, we might not know a name, but we can go. And I saw you somewhere on campus at some point. But yeah, it was like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So were you from a funny family? Do you feel like there was humor and comedy growing up and going to college, or do you feel like that's something that happened later?
You know what? I mean, I look at it now and I think I think my parents, they both have different senses of humor. Like with my mom, hers is more subtle. My dad is very much like he's the person that can entertain somebody and, tell a story and, have people all around him. But trying to think when I was a kid, were they ever like, because they didn't, I don't know if it was until I started paying attention to things they did, but like later on in life, I was like, God, they are so hilarious. And I don't even think they know how ridiculous they are. Like it just, it cracks me up because, they're funny. And then my sister and I are 12 years apart. So so she was, I was in middle school and they were just like, hey, look. And I was like, I was pretty settled into this only child thing. So I don't know what kind of decisions you guys were trying to make about my life right now. But so they were really funny with that. And I still remember like my sister's very funny, but she would never get on stage. But my parents, I do remember my mom telling me that like it was different raising us, because she said she could scare me with things like, hey, don't go over there behind that door. There's a monster, don't go. And she said I would go like, oh my God, there's a monster, I'm not going to go. But with my sister would be more like, well, I need to see him and talk to him and find out more about him. And where is he? And my mom was like, oh God, like these two personality types are like, I thought we had it with this one, but this one over here is a whole nother level of person. So, they were funny in their own ways. And my mom, like, one of my favorite stories that she gets so embarrassed by it, but I love to tell it, is how the time I was talking so much one day that I literally just broke her as a person, because she kept telling me to be quiet, and she was just like, Mia, she's just like, please. And she's like HR lady, so she's very much like, Mia, just speak just for a second. Just give me a second. And I was like, but Mom, blah, 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 blah. Would not stop talking. And she was like, okay, teeth getting gritted. And then she was like, I need you to shut up. And I was like, still going on and on. And then she started screaming and was like, I need you to shut the F up. And then she was like, oh God. Oh.
You broke her.
And to this day, she will bring it up sometimes. Like, and she'll do like, do you remember that time I had to tell you to shut the F up? Oh. Because she was not an F word user. My dad, he drops it in all through conversation, but my mom was very much like, I can't believe it. She was like, you drove me crazy that day. And yeah.
Now, were you like this in school too, or were you different in school?
No, in school I was like, because I was a smart kid, so with my chatter, it was more like, Mia's a joy. She's a treat. And then when I got to middle school, they were just like, you talk too damn much. Like, why are you talking all throughout class? And I just like, because this is boring to me. That's why. Like, give me something interesting. I won't talk. So that's kind of how it was.
Now, one thing I want to tell people, if they don't know you, is that you are a formidably height advantaged person. This is you are 6 feet tall, right?
Yeah, 6 feet tall. Yeah.
So I wonder what that was like in high school, talking a lot and being that tall. Were you dominating? Were they,
No, not at all. Cause I was, let me see. Cause all throughout elementary school, I actually was not one of the taller people in my class until 6th grade. So, because there was actually one other girl who was taller than me, and I was just like, yes, thank God, like all the attention goes on her for being tall. And then, what was it? Yeah, probably when I got to middle school, that's when I was like, oh, I'm like 5'9", and I'm 12.
Yeah.
Which that also made people, when my sister was born, people would be like, this is so precious, like this is shameful, this teen child with this baby. And my parents would be like, no, these are both of our kids. Like, no, it's
That's
my mom would be like, look at her face, she has a baby face. Ignore her height. Yeah, and I actually do remember I used to have trouble though, because I was getting into restaurants where you could get kids 7 and under for free, because one of my aunts, I was about the same height as her at 7, and they would not. And I started, like, we had I was tearing up, and my mom was like, look, you're making this baby cry. This baby is 7. She should be able to eat for free. And they were like,
yeah, your parents missed out on that. Yeah. Get you in. Like most children are like, I am like 8. And you're like, no, be quiet. You're not.
Yeah, but I was just because they were looking at my aunt, and they're like, you're about the same height. And she was like, no, like she's a 7. And I was gonna turn 8 the next day though.
Well, there you go. Now I know you talk about being tall in your bits a lot, and I remember, one of them, you were talking about your boyfriend at the time. It's the same boyfriend now?
It depends on which joke.
6'5". That you were dating men that were taller than you.
That was the 6'4" is current. That's a current boo.
Okay,
yes.
good. But I just laugh at it because and I mean, laugh with it. I always wanted to be tall, but I'm only like 5'3". So you're talking to
Oh,
two
you're
shorter
adorable.
folks. Oh yeah, but I always wanted to be tall like that because I always felt that was commanding. You know, that you could just walk in with authority and tell people
Oh,
things, and they would listen to you, right?
yeah, I do get people that it happens in stores a lot where I've even had people go, look, I know you don't work here. I just need you to help me get this off the shelf. And I'm like, thank you for at least acknowledging, because a couple of times I've told people like, no, I don't work here. And one lady's just like, look, I already know, I can tell you shopping, but ain't nobody from the store helping me. So I need you to get this thing. And then she was like, so can you do it? And I'm just like, yeah. And just get it off. Fine.
Everybody short wants to be tall. That's all I ever wanted. I was waiting for my legs to grow, man.
How tall are you?
5'3.25", but 5'4" for the public.
Look at you holding
She's
on
taller
to that
than
corner.
me by a quarter.
right.
Yeah.
Give it up. Just give it up.
Everybody short does it. They're like, listen, I am 5'5.5".
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm like, just say you're 5'3". Accept it. Accept it.
I know it's just not fair, but so when did you start doing comedy? When did you start thinking that you were going to do this?
Look, well, that was the thing. It probably took about a good year and maybe like almost 2 years, like where in my head I was like, I'm gonna do it, and because I can remember, like, you know how colleges will book comedians and they'll be, sometimes they'll sit around and shake hands afterwards and talk to people. And we had somebody come to my school, and I was like, how do you do comedy? Like, how does this even, how do you start? Like, and then I just remember the comic was like, just, you gotta write, and you gotta have write all the time. You gotta have a mic in your hand. You need to be on stage all the time. And since I was still living in Athens at the time, I was like, where do I get on stage? And I probably didn't get on stage for like 2.5 years after that conversation. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, because I kept going. I'm like, you said I have to go to open mics. I'm like, what is that? But I was so afraid to do it. And so probably around like 2003ish, 2004ish is when I first like started dabbling in getting on stage, but I didn't go full time until 2014. So yeah, so it was so even though I've been around it a long time, I can see the difference. And now I was like, oh, I wasn't serious. Like I was doing shows and stuff. I'm like, but it's completely different now.
And who were you watching that sort of made you think that you might be able to do it? Like who were your people?
Well, what, that's the thing. I don't even know if like when I saw people, it still seemed very, just seemed like a far away thing where it was like, oh, these people are just brilliant, and I don't even know this is a job, like that kind of thing. And like growing up though, like I remember liking people like because one of my cousins, we would every day when we were like 11 and 12, we would call each other and whoever we had seen on, I guess it was Comedy Central, like so it would be whatever those stand-up shows were. We would be quoting all kinds of people, like George Wallace. We would quote his jokes all the time. I used to, and I got to work with her years later, but Wendy Liebman, like I used to love seeing her also. So when I got to open for her a long time ago, I remember going, and there was this joke that you told. And then when I said the joke, she was like, oh my gosh, she's like, I haven't done that joke in forever. I'll do it for you tonight. And I was like,
she was here last week. She was here last week. Yeah. 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 I know what you mean though. Yeah.
Oh, she's the best. And then when I saw and I grew up watching Comic View and Def Comedy Jam, and I loved all that stuff. And then when I saw Bring the Pain, like I just remember, with Chris Rock's Bring the Pain, I was like,
yeah,
how did he do that? This is so amazing. So those were all the things that like made me love stand up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're talking in the same. We're like. So I should say it's the Quarantine Call-In Show. This is the half point when we do open up the room for questions. So viewers, if anybody has any questions or would like to talk to Mia, this is the time.
This is the
Mi-
time.
Mia, have you hit any stages in Atlanta? I mean, of course you have, but like, what about the Underground? Is that what it's called?
Oh, you talking about Uptown?
The Uptown Comedy Club? Yeah.
Uptown. I haven't been there in years, but like I did it like maybe once or twice really early in comedy, but I ended up doing more of the mainstream rooms that were in Atlanta. But yeah, I went because everybody was like, you have to do Uptown, you have to do it at least once. I'm like, yeah, you have to. And then I went there and got my feelings hurt. So
Do you have so, Nick, this is a scary place, so I'm not gonna lie, it scared the crap out of me. But do you have a preference, like for the mainstream rooms or the underground rooms?
no, like it's the like that's the thing. Like I think and I always wonder, I'm like, how did I end up even doing more mainstream rooms when like I grew up real black as hell. Like I grew up very like I mean like when I say like I did not really start even I didn't really go to school with white people until college. Like I knew like I legit maybe knew like, one or two people sprinkled here and I had white teachers and stuff. So I knew I'd seen white people, so I'm not, but I was but I was real affirmed in blackness real early. So I don't know if that kind of informed it to where I was like, hey, I'm always in this world. So now let me, now that I ended up going to, this to college, I think like all that kind of led to me being like, oh, I think maybe I need to be, not that it was a conscious thing, but I just kind of ended up doing more mainstream shows. But I mean, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I can't do it because I've done black shows before. So I mean, I hate to even dice it up like that, but I mean, some people will kind of do that thing where they're like, what do you do? Do you do urban or do you do mainstream or do you,
Yeah.
and I've seen it, but people do it in that way, like this is bad and this is good. Like, and I don't like when people try to make that distinction because I'm like, I mean, it is just comedy, but I'm just like, everything is diced up into different genres anyway,
Yeah.
so but I've definitely seen the people that'll do that thing like but are you black, are you really black, because you're not, because I don't know if I always see you at this. And I'm like, no, trust me, like I'm like we don't like that's not a but yeah, that's what that thing I still even to this day I'm always kind of like, yeah, how did I end up doing one more than the, like I don't even really like know how it happened because being in Atlanta, that's the thing, it is a very distinct,
Yeah.
quote unquote, this is urban, these are alt rooms, this is mainstream,
Yeah.
so and then you would see people that did kind of everything, and then some people would never go to the alt rooms or would never go to the quote unquote urban rooms, and then you would see people that were in the urban rooms that would never go to mainstream. So it was, but like I said, there was some people that could kind of do everything, but I always like to go just even like just to watch different people, because I'm like, these are people I grew up watching on Comic View, so I want to see, I mean, I want to
Yeah.
watch these shows, so
But do you think that the mainstream rooms are receptive to black people, or how do you feel about that? Black comedy.
It depends. Like I've seen like I don't like when there's that whole thing of the only way we can have a black comic at this club is if we do the
Novelty night. Yeah.
So I don't like that, to me, where I'm like, just book the damn comic, like you don't have to do this branded special thing. So I don't like when that happens. I mean, I do like when I see clubs that are just like, this is our lineup and just this is what it is. Like you might get this person this week, you might get this person next week, boom. But then there are clubs that obviously just won't book. It don't matter if you are quote unquote urban or mainstream, you just not getting booked there. You're not gonna be on that club. So I do find that just in general, sometimes clubs are like, I don't know if I can take a chance on this person. You're like, yeah, so that happens regardless of whatever types of black you say you are or whatever types of rooms you say you do. So I do see that happen.
Do you see that as with female comics too? Like, I'm so tired of hearing female comic,
Yeah. It's just, I've had people, like, sometimes I've talked to my friends about this before. We're like, oh, we got the same credits as, we'll look at somebody's calendar. We're like, we got all the same credits as every single person on here and can't get booked at a club. So
Wow.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
some of those credits, by the way. So, right?
Okay.
Just for Laughs, right? You were
Yeah. I was a new face I was an unrepped new face in 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
And Last Comic Standing also, right?
Yeah, yes, I did that. That was actually 2015, and that was the what was it, the same year I was quired. That fall I auditioned for the show, and then the next spring I was on Last Comic Standing. So it kind of seemed like I went from she ain't got no job to wait a minute, she on TV. So that's
Once
yeah, so
again,
that's
right?
that's how so that, and then what was it? I had a thing come out on Epics in 2018, and then my Comedy Central half hour came out last year, November of 2019, and then I was in a thank you, and then I was in a
That's dope. Yeah.
documentary. Thanks, guys. And then I was in a documentary that was called This Is Stand Up that came out on Comedy Central in April. So,
Oh, cool.
and then I've done like some episodes of This Week at the Cellar that also comes out on Comedy Central. So I'm in dabbling out here in these streets.
No big deal. Just putting in a little work,
Just, trying.
Yeah.
Then she gets a call from CNN, you know.
Right. Just showing up, leaving people at an office.
I thought the
So,
Cellar was like the pinnacle. Like that's all. When I first moved to New York, I thought, God, if I can get on that stage, like that's the center of the universe. Did you feel some kind of way when you were in there?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I mean, even, prior, like I haven't been obviously in months, but it's like, it is one of the things that even if you walk in like on a Wednesday night, you could literally see anybody sitting in there. And I'm just like, oh, I got a spot tonight. And, and so even sometimes as a comic, like it's so funny because like when I've had friends come with me, I have to, because now, I'm used to it. I mean, I still, in general, know how to act, but I have friends who do not know how to act. And you know how when people come in and they're all like, that's so-and-so, or this person, and you're just like, calm your ass down. Like, shh. Like, I got to come here tomorrow. You need to settle down, But no, it's such a great, like, it's just a great place to be, and I love the wings there, which are so delicious, and the wings are amazing.
Who knew?
The wings, I miss the wings, but I do just miss being there, just because it's it's just like, if you get a weekend where you get a lot of spots, you're like, oh, cool, I'm on this show at 6 and at this one at 7, and then I got a break for an hour, and then I'm on this one at 10, so it's really like just a nice, just hopping around the corner doing all those spots.
That's dope.
So I love it. Yeah.
Go on, Tim. You have a question.
I was just gonna say, so since like the quarantine, because this is the quarantine call-in show, so we like to talk about how the quarantine affected your everyday routine or whatever. So so everything is fine. You're booked up. The chicken wings, you're going on in an hour. Then all of a sudden they say, yo, everything is closed. Everybody go home now. How did that affect you? What happened?
It just went from, it was just that thing where I was like, oh, because it was like, prior to that point, like people were like, hey, are you available on this date, this date, this date? And I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I guess I can just delete all of this stuff that's in my calendar. Then there were a couple of people that were like, well, we're actually going to just move this thing to this month. And then they would go, well, hey, no, we said the thing was going to be in May. Now it's not going to happen until 2021. Or remember how we said this thing, and then I was like, so I spent a few days just going like, oh, I'm just sitting here. Like, I don't know what to do. Like that kind of happened at first, where it was just a few days of being just like, everything stopped. And it was like, what do I do now? Because I'm so used to being on the go. I'm used to being like, this is my carry-on suitcase for a weekend. This is my big suitcase if I'm going to be gone for a week. And like, I had my little routine and, just all that stuff. And then I was like, oh, I have to unpack. Like,
Yeah.
like, this is not going anywhere for several months, you know. So yeah, it just was just I was like, I gotta find something else to do. So at first I just watched TV for several days since I just never sit down and do that at all. And I was like, this is my life now. I'm a TV person again. This is who I am.
How are you coping? I mean, I know that's a personal question, but I mean, like we all are reaching to do something while we're here. So what is it for you?
You know, at first it was trying to. It was like I'm just gonna get back into working out, and that lasted for about a month. And then recently, what is it? I bought some extra. What is it, gum? It's like extra berry remix, and I just have been eating that. Like one day, my boyfriend was just like, "Why are you mainlining gum? Like, what's wrong with you?" Because I was just talking, and I was like, "Yeah." And then and just, you know, he was like, did you just open up the container? And I was like, so what? You know, and I was like, why am I going insane eating gum? I mean, it was a problem. So I'm out right now. And yeah, but it's stuff that I'm like, I didn't like. At one point I used to drink sodas all the time, and then I was like, drink them every once in a while, but now I've been like, I need a 6-pack or a 10-pack of mini Cokes and a 10-pack of cherry Cokes. And I eat a lot of flaming hot Doritos. So yeah, and then it's got to the point where I look at the bag and I'll be like, they didn't even season these good. This is not a good seasoned batch. I don't want it. I don't even want it. That's
You
what
could
my
be
life has become.
quality assurance for the Frito-Lay company.
Yeah, yeah, because I picked one bag up and I was like, okay, these are real red. I like these. And I was like, these are good. Yeah, so I've gone through, everything's been food based. I've gone from Snickers flavored creamer to Cinnamon Toast Crunch creamer.
You tried that? I actually wanted to know how that tasted. You know, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I was like, who buys it? You do what?
I buy it. It's delicious.
I don't know, Mia.
You heard it here first, because I was like, I ain't trying it. You try it.
Tim, you need it in your life.
Mia, I see a show. I see some show development here around Food Critic.
But it's all completely unhealthy. Who likes to just drink creamer?
I don't even need the coffee. Just give me the creamer.
Right. One of my friends said he did that. I was like, are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So things have been food based. So I will expect that I can't wear some clothes in a little bit. But I will go hop on the scale every few days and be like, oh, all right, that was my pre-COVID weight. So I'm coping.
I think we all put on weight though. We all just laid up. I mean, what else can we do?
Right. God, it's
true.
And then I've been actually doing this joke, but this is like, I had some like for real, like some leggings that I thought were just stitched on the sides, but they were pockets. And I was like, damn, I could have been putting snacks in here this whole time. Like, I didn't even know. Like, I just thought it was like a little nice little stitching. And I was like, these are secret snack pockets. So like that's the kind of, everything is food related. Yeah. And I've been trying to, like, you know, write and just, you know, but it's really just been more of having a conversation with somebody, and this thing naturally came up and was funny in conversation. So, this might actually have potential to be something. So let me catalog this conversation. But I haven't been doing anything where I've been like, I'm just going to sit down for an hour today and focus. Like, that doesn't happen.
I see your next special being very food central. It's all good. Just consumer. You could do like Consumer Report or something. I see it.
It's gonna be called Cinnamon Toast Creamer. The name of the
I learned something today. The Snickers creamer I didn't know about. I learned something. Thank you for teaching me.
You want it, okay?
I didn't even know Black folks could digest dairy. Like, damn, I'm blown away.
No. It's non-dairy creamer.
It's non-dairy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd have no parts of it. No. Yeah, non-dairy creamer. And I did have to tell myself the other day to because I do slip up with ice cream, and then will wonder why I'm ill for a day or so, and then I'm like, oh, that's right, we're lactose intolerant as a people.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
I should
Except for
stop
Tim.
this. Tim, you lucky man.
I can do cheese, man. Ain't nothing going on in my, ain't nothing worth me giving up cheese, man. If they told me I had to give up cheese, or
That's
that's it. Like, listen, man, you're gonna die in 6 months if you got to give up cheese. I'll be like,
He's die.
That
He's
is
gonna die.
a strong commitment to cheese.
it is though. It is. I mean, it's not like random cheese, but cheese on stuff. It ain't like I'm sitting around eating like a block of cheese.
Okay.
It's just like cheese, like cheeseburgers, macaroni and cheese,
Okay.
like that,
The 4 basic food groups,
People will
Okay.
be packing up my house for 2 months and got to move out on Wednesday.
Okay. So you don't have like a cheese plate set up. Just
No.
you're not like, this is Gouda.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
cheese or die. I don't know.
Right.
I
Wow.
wish I'd known, Tim. I got 3 blocks of cheese in my fridge right now. They just sitting there. They gonna die in there. I'm not.
I
ever
don't
gonna
like
touch
cheese.
it.
I'm just saying. I just gotta. It's like one of them things. Like I need coffee in the morning, and cheese on some type of food. Like, I can't. I don't know when the last time I actually ate a hamburger. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is a hamburger? Like
Okay.
that's just
So that's
okay. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's just for me. Like, I need cheese.
Is this every day?
He's getting concerned about you.
Because now I'm like Tim, or is this a look? I'm like, Tim, go on. I want to know more about this cheese.
You stressing people out with your cheese.
First, I thought you was a casual cheese user, but this
I
sounds.
am, but there's just certain things I can't eat without cheese. Like, it's like having cereal without milk. I don't know. And sometimes we've been broke. I'm from we had to use water on it. It ain't the same. You need milk and even almond milk. I can't do almond milk with cereal.
I know.
What kind are you buying? You should buy Blue Diamond.
I got that.
But do you get vanilla or the non or the original? Because you need to get original.
I get the original unsweetened, and that's for my
Good.
coffee.
Good.
That's
All right.
for my coffee.
You see, I'm very passionate about snacks.
She is. I'm telling you. We should rename the show right now to Food Talk. This is Food Talk with Mia Jackson. Dr. Mia Jackson.
Mia, you don't mess with rice cream.
Nutritionist Mia Jackson.
Right. So now I'm just like, wait a minute. Like, let's talk about this cheese.
You have a
What'd you
bit,
say,
Mia.
Kim? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no.
Go ahead.
I said, do you don't mess with rice milk?
No, I never got into rice milk.
I heard things about the oat milk. That's what I keep hearing about.
Oh, I've done oat milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your reviews for the oat milk? Good? Yes, no, maybe.
It does. It depends on the brand.
Mm.
I have gotten into a brand where I can't even remember the name of it, but I was like, never again.
Oh,
Never.
that's very strong.
Yeah, but the
milk sampling.
We do the gray container oat milk.
Oh my God.
Look, I know now I'm just giving recommendations. This is the kind of oat milk you need. Almond milk.
I'm telling you, this is it. This is it,
We
Mia.
can't wait to see your review, your food review show.
Right.
I recommend things very hard. I get into what is it? Ticino. Have you had Ticino?
What is that?
Somebody just asked me about that.
Yeah, listen. It's a what is it? It's tea. It's no caffeine. I think it's like chicory and something else, but it's supposed to kind of mimic a coffee-esque flavor. So when I'm getting too out of control with coffee, I will sometimes get this because they have like a hazelnut one. They have a like French vanilla, and yeah. So yeah, they have it on Amazon. But
Oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna try it. Okay.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
whenever I get carried away, where I'm like, I might have been drinking coffee at 8 o'clock at night, so maybe I should try this tea instead.
Mia, you need some endorsements for this stuff because you really recommend. Get her paid. Can somebody just get her? Look, Tabitha Brand. She can't be the only game in town.
You know what? One of my friends, he said that to me one day at the cellar. He was like, "You always have recommendations for like everything," because I'll be like, "Oh, just buy this thing," or I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna go travel? Get you some packing cubes. Get blah blah blah." And he's like, "Why do you know?" And I'm like, "Listen, I read a lot and I want to try things."
This is why people come to you in the store and ask questions, right?
Yes,
That's who you are.
that's who I am. I'm a
She's the authority.
Mia, do you have any I always ask this question to every comic. Can you share some wild tour stories? Do you have any road stories that are crazy or wild or
yeah, it's one that I remember during the quarantine. I had did a show, and this woman ran outside with her friends, and she was like, "I come here all the time, and I've never seen a woman comic here." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And she was like, "Oh no, I mean, it was just so great." She was like, I had to pee so bad during your set, and I didn't want to get up." And I was like, "Oh wow." And then she was like, "Oh," she's like, I just got to pee right now." And then she just peed right in the parking lot in front of me. And I was like, "Oh." And then you know how they have those little was it like the U-shaped little bike rack things? Like she just went and sat on that and just pulled her pants down. I was like, oh, like against a building and just legs just hanging out. And her friends were like, "Oh no, oh my God." And I was like, "You could have just went." And she was like, "But I didn't want to miss you." And
See,
and
now now you know that a club has to do some changing if somebody is risking their bladder to see a female comic.
Right. And I kept telling her, I was like, "No, I'm sure female comics have been here." She was like, "I've never seen it." And then she started to shake my hands, and I was like, "We're not doing that. We are not." You pee in the parking lot, even though it's different with lady pee. You pee in the parking lot, lady.
National crisis. Yeah.
But you are. I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. But her friends were like, they wanted to just die. They were just like, "Oh my God." And then she was like, "You're probably going to talk about this at some point, are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I am." Like, come on. You don't pee in front of a comic and don't think I'm going to mention it to somebody. Yeah.
Well,
So
this
yeah.
is my new second life goal right there. Right there. To make somebody wait to see me, to want to see me that bad, to where they hold their pee, and then just be like, "Man, Tim, you was funny, man." I'm like, "All right, man, just why don't you just finish what you doing over there?"
Yeah, it's just it was yeah, I've had that. I've had what was it? I'm trying to think. A lot of times, just a lot of because everything is a lot of racial things. I remember one time some guy after a show was like, "Listen, I'm a bit of a foodie," and I was like, "Okay," and he was like, "So let me ask you this: do you like fried chicken?" And then I was like, "Word, like that's just this is that." I was like, does that make you a foodie, or does it just make you a ridiculous person? Like, what are you doing? And then another white person had to come in and save him, and they were just like, "Hey man, maybe don't do that." And then he was like,
oh my God.
What did I say wrong here? And I'm like, so yeah, I've had things like that happen. I've had one club I did, this man and his group of friends, they apparently he lived in walking distance from the club, and they were like, "You're so funny, and my wife would have loved you tonight. Like, do you want to just come to our house?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "No, I don't." And luckily, there was a group of women in a bachelorette party, the only time a bachelorette party has ever been useful at a show. And they were like, "No, she's coming to hang with us. She's our friend." And then one of them was kind of smiling through her because she was like, "Girl, we know you're not coming with us, but that's weird." And she was like, "Why does he think you would just want to walk with him?" Because he kept going, "I promise you it's safe." And I'm like, says everybody on Dateline. Like, no, like, it's not safe.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm blaming Bill Murray for that one because he does that shit.
What? That's right. Doesn't he just like pop up on people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He spent, that's not normal people though. Like, I feel for you.
Yeah, it was, but I think that's why it happened, because it's that whole thing of like, "Oh, well, she's nice, so I can just say literally anything to her and it'll be cool." And I'm like, "No, it's not. It's not cool at all."
You have that gift. You have that gift of people saying things to you. And you know the story that I really love because it's just so funny. Because it's like, as a therapist, people do this.
Oh,
This is you, but I'm telling you, you could be a food critic, a nutritionist, a doctor. This is you.
The towel story.
Yeah.
Yes, the towel. Yeah, that was in Texas. Yeah, and trying to sell my merch, and somebody was gonna just buy the rest, and he's just like, buy the rest of it, $100, but I need to talk to you. And I was like, no. No. And he just went through this whole thing where he was just like, this is what I love more than anything, and I love stealing towels. And I was like relieved, because I was like, okay, that's the cool part. He is just stealing towels, but now I've got to hear the rest of this story. And he had a cousin walked up while he was telling me all this, and he was like, hey man, don't you steal towels too? And then the cousin was like, I just take the gym towels. And I said, what is, I said, your whole family? He told me the whole breakdown of, like, he said when he checks in, he tells them he's taking the towels. He said he had them, and I said, what are you doing with them? He was like, oh, they're just in storage at my house. And he said that he takes an empty carry-on. And I was like, you're traveling with an empty carry? He was like, yeah, like, he was like, you should try it too. And I said, no, I'm not I'm not gonna do this. This is not this. Then but my favorite part of the story was him telling me that a maid left he's like, she left a cart in the hall. And then I was like, no. And he was like, yes. and I was like, he's gonna tell me he took like one or two, but he said he took the whole cart and pushed it into his room and just took all the towels. And I was like, but I feel like you can afford towels. I feel like you have the disposable income to buy towels. I don't know why you like doing this. And then when I got home, like, just telling one of my friends, like, oh my God, this is a crazy conversation I had with somebody. And I was like, oh my God, this dude is murdering people. Like, oh my God, he's killing people. That was his confession. And he's just saying towels. He's just saying towels. He's out here killing people. And I got to keep the story in my life to tell on him on Dateline.
It's all going to go back to Dateline. You know this.
I hate to say this, but my family be taking towels too. I'm sorry. We got a bunch of them in the closet from different hotels. I'm sorry.
Tim, do you know this man?
No.
No.
Oh my
Probably
gosh.
related to Boney. The guy was probably related to Boney somewhere down the line.
Shut up. No.
Shut up. So I have to ask the question that one of our viewers always likes to ask this question, and it's a good one.
Okay.
So if somebody had given you some, let's see, I guess, if you were advising your younger comedy self about your career or about work in comedy, what kind of advice would you give her?
Let me see. I would have told early Mia to I'd have been like, you know what, just take it a little bit more serious. Like, when people tell you to actually watch your set and listen to your set, like, just go back and do that and then keep, because I would do it sparingly. I didn't do it enough at the beginning because I would just be like, I remember everything. And then I would just be on stage rambling sometimes. And I was so excited about having just like, oh, this is a new thought. And I wouldn't work on something old, or because to me it was like, that's old. And it's like, it's not old. You've been on stage 3 times. Like, you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, so that would be the one, just to, like, no, actually write things down, record those things, listen to them, watch them, fix them, instead of just thinking you can just straight up go off of memory. Because yeah, you can remember some things, but it's good to just, hear it. Is good to see yourself, because, somebody once told me, they were like, have you watched yourself on stage? And I was like, I'm perfectly still on stage. And they were like, no, you don't. You grab your crotch when you talk. And this was very early in comedy. And I was like, no, that's wrong. And then I went back and watched the clip, and I went, oh dear God, I cannot believe I was just, not only was I grabbing my crotch, I was alternating hands doing it. So I would be like this, like, and then grab, just rocking back and forth the whole time, just and I was like, oh, and I was like, that is so distracting. Yeah, I know. That's why I told you to go back and look. And I'm like,
Yeah.
So that's the advice I would say is just like, yeah, take that part serious. Like, even though comedy is fun and it's a social thing and all this stuff. Like, if you are really serious about it and you do want to be, decent at it, then you will actually do the stuff you have to do. Like, it's like athletes in their game tape, so that's pretty much just the same concept. So do those things, even if it's annoying. And I hate hearing my voice. But I'm like, ugh, who would want to hear this for 30 minutes to an hour? I don't want to hear it, and I live it every day. So just go back and do those things, even if they feel uncomfortable. Do them.
Great advice. Before we close out, can you tell us where to find you online and all that stuff? Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry. That was so dramatic. I'm only doing it because I have a gold background. There's really no other. If the wall was just white, I would have just been like, yes, I'll tell you. No.
It's fancy.
No. It's yeah, but I'm on the website miajackson.com, and then I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Mia Comedy, and then I'm on Facebook just Mia Jackson. So I'm around. I'm out here in these streets. Well, inside, but the virtual streets.
Right. Thank you so much.
I got one quick question to ask you before.
Yeah.
Did you do Oak City Comedy Festival?
Yes.
Did you do that? I think okay.
I did. Did you do it?
I did. That's what I'm saying. I think that's why I think I actually saw you the first time, man.
Because I only was able to do one night. I was able to do the opening night. Then I think I had shows in DC the next day. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool.
All right. So yeah, I was like, I thought we were I don't think I had a show that night. I just went to hang out.
Okay. Yeah. That was it. Yeah, cool. I did the very first one.
Yeah, I was there all week. I went there all week. Yeah, the first,
Cool.
I was there all week, and my shows wasn't there till a Thursday or whatever.
Gotcha.
So I went out there and just hung out. Okay, but from what you've done from then is amazing, man. It's like you just off and running. Like you took off and just didn't look back. You know what I'm saying?
Trying, man, just trying.
I could have been on my knees I need a hand.
Listen, I help people. Look, I help people.
I'm just out.
Just message me. I help when I can.
I'm proud
That's
of you.
what I do. I help people get stuff off shelves. Give comedy advice.
Food recommendations.
Food recommendations.
Right.
Yeah.
You do it all. Well, I'm proud of you. I just want to say that I'm proud of you.
We all are.
Thank you,
So
guys.
keep doing what you're doing.
We love it, y'all. We love that. Keep it up. We love it.
Keep being a boss.
So this was so fun.
Right.
So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So it's the Quarantine Call-In Show. We want to thank you, Mia Jackson, for gracing us with your presence tonight for an hour, and we hope to see you again real soon. If you ever need anything, you want to come back and talk about some new projects, we're friends. You come back, okay?
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Sorry.
Bye.
Bye.
Quarantine Call-In Show.
Any U.S. citizen returning to the United States will be subject to up to 14 days of mandatory quarantine.
Okay. We got that vaccine, third eye clean, we Visine. Dancing off the top rope, we Dougie off them high beams. Running hard like track meets, debutantes in back seats. Niacin for player P, my piss test with 5. Double parks on planet Mars, they surf the net, we surf the stars. Quarantine in Zanzibar, breathing on the masses. Paper like Onassis.